Hello, everybody, and welcome to the It's Not the Ref podcast. We've got a May 15th edition. Today, you've got Roland in Windsor and Guido in Richmond Hill. We are missing Clark in Detroit and Brian in Barrie. So, and it's too bad, right? Like this is the, what are we calling it? The Leafs fall in spring episode.
I guess. Call it what you want.
And Brian's not here. I'm sure he'll catch up, right?
Yeah, I guess there's nothing to catch up with the Leafs anymore. They're toast.
They're gone. They're gone. Yep. They're out of the first round again.
Again. And there's no excuse. I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear this, that, the refs. Know, we hit the post. We did that. It's like, you got to show up and play and win, and they just can't do it. I don't know what it is, but they just can't do it.
Well, let's, you brought up excuses in the refs. I want to run a clip. So hold on. I want to run a clip. This is the goal that got called back because of interference. So just gonna run it real quick. Let's have a look.
Yep.
Now you see right there.
Yep.
Right. It's a pick.
Yeah, right? It is. Yeah.
It's a pick.
Yeah.
But Leaf fans are upset about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been reading it online. They're just like, that was a good goal. There's no way that's a pick. What was the player's name? What was the Tampa player? I forget. He ran into Hall. I'm going, like, there's no way. There's just, he's trying to follow Tavares, and he gets picked. I mean, that's a the refs made the right call there.
So folks are saying, you don't call that in the playoffs. They didn't call. Now there was a couple of games before. There was a couple of jersey pulling episodes, and there was a couple of missed calls. But I've been talking about that for months. Yeah. And if Brian was here, he'd say, well, it all kind of evens out, and you just let it go and and I say, but it's not consistent. They're inconsistently consistent. But so now I think the Leaf fans are going, and there were chants. I think ref, you suck chants after that, right? Yeah. But it's a heartbreaker. I mean, it's a nice goal, but it could have been. It's probably a nice goal too because he had a lot of space. Like when you look at the video, he gets a lot of ice space because of that pick.
Right. That's why he had so much space, right? The guy gets picked off. Tavares is able to do what he wants to do. Nobody's a Tampa player isn't with him anymore. Has a clear shot at the net. Yeah, a player of Tavares' status, he's going to score. He's going to, when you got that kind of shot, you're going to put it in. So, but that's because there was interference. I mean, as soon as I saw it, and even the refs, even the TV panelists there, they said the same thing. It's like, yeah, there wasn't even an attempt to make it look like it wasn't by Hall. So it's like, yeah, he tried to fake it a little bit. But he's the one who interfered.
I want to come back. You mentioned the panelists on Sportsnet. We're going to come back to the panelists. I want to show you a couple of things. I was collecting some tweets of what was going on from the game. This one here, Cuz or at Fuzzball2 posted this last night on Twitter. Tampa starting roster.
Yeah.
And there's 4 refs.
Right?
But that theme kind of it kind of continued. Like it wasn't just this one. There's another one I want to show you. It was kind of entertaining to watch, because I've been calling this out for months, and all of a sudden it becomes a thing. Ex Leafs forever, Faltam 13 says, and he's replying to this person's replying to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I love this new Tampa Bay Lightning jersey. And it's the refs. Just fan rage. It was complete fan rage on the refs. Wait, I got one more. We're giving some spotlight here to some folks who were tweeting last night. Check this one out. Owen Irving at Noir Toronto says, Leafs opponent third jersey. That's a creative one.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. That's a creative one. But all things aside, when we stop looking at the memes, there was just some genuine ref rage.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Michael 71 says, NHL refs are on the take. Fix is in against the Leafs.
Yeah.
I don't know if the fix was in against the Leafs. Yun Bun says, refs just love to hate Toronto.
Yeah.
We've talked about that all season long too, like with the video replays and all that stuff. And I've never got the sense that refs love to hate Toronto. Refs have loved to hate Brendan Gallagher. We've said that over and over. If that was an interference and Brendan Gallagher was like, I don't know, 100 feet away, it would have been a no goal. It felt like,
they would have called it. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And then I cringed harder. Cringed harder says, TBL versus Toronto, refs are a total clown show.
Yeah. You know what we saw from the refs this time around, or what's going on in the playoffs right now? They are calling a lot of stuff. I mean, I've never seen so many 5-on-3s ever in the playoffs. So they are calling stuff that they called in the regular season. There's not that difference anymore. Like, okay, we're going to let it go. They might miss some calls here and there, the pulling of the shirt or whatever that they don't see or isn't called. But for the most part, they've been calling a lot of stuff. How many 5-on-3s have we seen in past years? Yeah. Not a lot.
Yeah.
If it is like
this season, there's been a lot.
Yeah. You basically had to really hammer somebody down to get a 5-on-3. But this year and it's not just the Leafs and Tampa. Every series that I've been watching, it's 5-on-3. I'm going, wow, it's all of them. So
I got into a bit of an exchange with a few folks over the rule, because they're saying it's not a penalty. That's not a penalty. What he did was not a penalty. In the rule book, 56.2, minor penalty for interference shall be imposed on a player who interferes with or impedes the progress of an opponent who is not in possession of the puck.
Right.
And there's more, right? On a player who restrains an opponent who's attempting to forecheck, etc. And it just goes on and on and on. But that very first one, I mean, that's what happened. That's what it was. And that's why the penalty got called. Here's what it is. I get that the Leaf, if you're a Leaf fan, you don't want that to happen. You don't want to, you're like, no, they scored. That I don't want it to be that, right? That deep down emotion of no.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
It's the penalty,
it's
right?
A penalty.
And it got called.
Yeah.
Did the refs miss other calls on the ice that night? Yeah, they did. Yeah.
On both teams.
Yeah. Now, here's the other thing I said. Does this replace the 1993 stick incident? Will this now go on to be the one? Will we stop hearing about 1993 and Wayne Gretzky and how if they would have beat the LA Kings, they would have gone on to certainly beat the Montreal Canadiens?
Just excuses to me, and I've been reading more stuff online too, like with the Leaf fans. It's like, and to me, it's like, just score. The refs have it in for you. Well, what if Marner's shot that hit the post went in? You're up 1-0. What if somebody else hit was it Matt hit the post? That shot goes in. It changes the game. That's all it is. The refs had nothing to do with it. here and there, they'll make a mistake. Okay, that's fine. But, it's just score, just show up and play and win the game. And the Leafs haven't been able to do that when it counts. When it counts, they can't seem to get over that hump. They can't seem to put it together. You're at home, game 7. You got the last line change, and the crowd is behind you 100%, and you still can't pull it out. And it's not just this year; it's 5-6 years in a row now, year after year after year, and they can't do it.
But they're playing the defending 2-time $18 million over the cap Stanley Cup champions who have faced this scenario many times in the last few years. If you watch what happened in the third period, it was I sent a tweet out 5 minutes into the third that said, this is not going to stay 2-1. This game can't stay 2-1. Like, it was so fast. Yeah. I said here, I was watching it here at home, I said, it's almost like they're processing the game 4 steps faster than what they actually are reacting. And you saw like so many times how they would, a puck would get overskated. It would, the misfired pass. But you look at what everybody else is doing on the ice, you look at how they're moving or the system, and you're going, they're anticipating 3-4 moves ahead of time. And it's causing them to sort of, make these little miscues as the brain connects to the hands, right? But you
they're playing at a whole other level. They're playing at a whole other level.
Complete other level. And the Leafs gave it everything in the third period. I gotta call it what it is. They poured it on, but Tampa Bay, block shot.
I'm gonna say that. What did Tampa do? They sacrificed themselves, right? They threw themselves in front of the puck. It's like, you're gonna my body, shoot it at me, right? It's not going to the goal. And how many did they stop in the third period alone?
Oh, countless.
Countless.
Yeah. Right. And the Leafs, for everything that they poured into it, I just felt like they didn't have somebody to break through into that front of the net space or create the space or move the Tampa players out of the way and stuff, and blown opportunity. And then blown opportunity, they're sad, they're upset. Leaf fans are sad and upset. A hush falls over the outside crowd as well. And the one comment that we get from Sheldon Keefe was, well, we got a lot of respect in the handshake line.
Yeah. Well, that's good for Sheldon Keefe, and I don't know anybody else that wants that, and that if that's important to them, I guess it is. Maybe in a way to say, hey, I've been in games where I go, good game. Yeah, that was a good game. But if you lose, that's not a good game.
I mean, I guess you got to say something, but it was just that comment. Before that comment was made, like at the end of the game here at home, Dee said to me, what do you do? What do you do if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs next year? Like, what do you think, Guido? Like, what happens? And I said to her, not much. I said, did they lose a game 7? They did. Did they lose it in the same way? And I've said before, how you lose is important. Did they lose it in the same way that they had in the past? And no, they didn't. They actually, I thought they showed up. I thought that there was effort throughout the series. There was a different effort. So I said, no, the way it is now, you probably don't fire the coach. You don't fire the GM. You make some changes to different parts of the team, like maybe some defensive changes, tweak the front end, get somebody like Brendan Gallagher, not Wayne Simmons, right? Get somebody like Brendan Gallagher. But do those little things. And then, so I finished saying that, and then the Sportsnet panel comes on and they ask Elliot Friedman.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he said everything I said. And she looks at me and she goes, he just said everything you said. I said, right. Except I don't have that nice suit.
Yeah. I only think he has a few suits there. He keeps rolling.
He looks good though. I like Elliot. He's a good personality. But Yeah. So what do you think? Where do the Leafs go? You heard what I think. I think they don't have a lot to change. I don't know if they'll get further if they face a different team, but they've got a lot of good players. They had a good system. I mean, Campbell showed up.
They're gonna lose some players. They're gonna lose some players, obviously. Those two Russian players, I don't think they'll stay with Toronto. They're unrestricted free agents. The Ilya boys there. I think one's forward, one's a defenseman.
Yeah.
They probably won't be back. I can't see, is Spezza coming back? Is Simmons coming back? I don't think so. There's going to be changes like that.
I'd keep Spezza if I could.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you saw him, like he's not popping 50 goals, but it's just that he's kind of like the Corey Perry, right? Like that veteran presence.
Corey Perry plays though. Corey Perry plays.
So did Spezza. Spezza played. He was there for his teammates. I gotta give him that.
I don't know minute wise. I think he only had like not a lot of 5 minutes at most. He didn't play. Like Perry's on the line, right? He's out there, gets thrown out there all the time.
And he's on the power play too.
And Spezza, I like what he did because he showed up and kind of calmed everybody down and said, but I think he did that on the wrong game. He did that in game 5 or I think it was game 5, where they were getting outplayed. They were down 2-0. He takes the goalie aside, it's talking to him, talking to other players on the bench. Toronto came back and won the game. That was game 5. Well, you need that in game. Then they went to Tampa in game 6 and they lost. Then they came home, and especially at home, like you got to win. You got to win those games at home. That's why during the season, you finish, with more points than Tampa. That's when you do it. You got a home ice advantage.
I really thought they were going to win game 6. I was surprised when they didn't. I didn't really, game 7 was just like a toss up. And you know
what? This was a good chance for them because Tampa is not Tampa. Tampa is not the Tampa Bay from last year, where their 3rd and 4th line are gone from last year, right? Because they couldn't keep them.
They couldn't keep him because they couldn't afford to keep him because they were allowed to be $18 million over the cap. Listen, if Kucherov and Vasilevsky were played last year the way they played in this series,
they would have lost.
We'd be looking at a different Stanley Cup champion. I think the Habs would have taken it. And I know everybody likes the sour grapes. It's not sour grapes. You can't tell me that $18 million with those players that couldn't stick around didn't make a difference, right?
Yep. We
saw how it made it. Now, you know what? Guys like, Paul, who had a great game for them and he's really showed up. They've managed to, within that budget, still find some players that are doing a decent job though, right?
And the other thing with Tampa too, Guy, is that they've gone 2 years now deep into the playoffs that, they won the Stanley Cup. So they have less and less time for recovery during the off season, right?
Yeah.
So they lost their 2 lines. They're a dead tired team for 2 years of going to the Stanley Cup finals, and they still beat the Leafs.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I said the other thing I said before game 7 started, like during the after game 6, I said, if I'm Kyle Dubas, I'm bringing in a psychologist, a hypnotist, and a massage therapist. And anytime that, you hear "Go Tampa, go," I would, hypnotize the Leafs to make it sound like it's "Go Leafs, go," or just do something different for this game 7 where you get a boost from something, right? I don't know if he did that, but that was what I was like, hey, they should do that. But listen, it's over. Game 7, they blew another game 7. They're 0-10.
Crazy.
I don't need to repeat it. Everybody knows they're 0-10 in elimination in games where they could eliminate an opponent.
Yep.
Just a phenomenal stat.
Yep.
And they're all sad. They think, hey, we're right there. I feel bad. There's some nice Leaf fans who I feel bad for, legitimate Leaf fans who I talk to, and and they're hockey fans, and they're really good. I feel bad for those ones, but there's a whole bunch of crazy stuff that we saw, blaming the refs and just finding blame everywhere else except where they need to find blame, and that's with the team. And at the end of the day, Kyle Dubas did his best to get what he could get with the money and the cap situation they had, but he didn't get enough. He didn't get enough to, and Campbell gave them a shot, but he didn't get enough, right?
Yeah. So now look at this. Next year they're gonna Campbell. He's a UFA. Do you think he's gonna stay there for 1.65 million? No, he's not. They're gonna have to sign him to a lot more money, since they were paying Peter Mrazek 3.8 million, and he was gone like mid-season. So they're going to have to pony up some more money. They're going to have to trade one of the big four. Maybe Nylander's gone.
That's what I keep seeing online. Nylander's going to go. It's too bad. I don't mind Nylander. He's going to go to another team, and they're going to put him in a situation where he's going to be even more successful than he was in Toronto, because they're going to play to his skills. They're going to zone in on his skills,
The other player, Tavares, and I guess he's got a no trade clause, so he's untradeable unless he approves it, right? And he's making 11 million a year. So somebody's got to go. If you want to improve the Leafs on defense, are they going to bring Giordano back? He's 38, 39 years old.
I like Giordano.
Yeah.
Solid
difference maker? No.
If you're asking me about the Toronto Maple Leafs system, you saw the back and forth, right? And we said it. If you listen to some of our previous podcasts with the guys, we said it. The Leafs are going to score. They're going to try and score 6 goals, but they might get 5 scored or 7 against them, because the defensive system isn't there. So Giordano's a great hockey player, right? Larry Murphy, we talked about this too. Larry Murphy was a great hockey player. Larry Murphy on the Toronto Maple Leafs was getting booed out of the arena. Why? Because they didn't use Larry Murphy in a system that took advantage of Larry Murphy's skills. And Giordano I thought he played great, and I think he did make a difference. There were so many plays that he actually, it was just smart hockey, right? And you didn't see that sort of stuff. So I think he raised the level of some of the defense. If you're going at it again, you keep Giordano. If you're not going at it and you're retooling, maybe you don't. But I don't know. You're not a Giordano fan. Maybe it's an age thing. I don't know.
No. I think he's too old. He's too old to be back there. I mean, when they got rid of Larry Murphy, I think Murphy was in his early 30s, and Toronto just couldn't stand him for whatever reason. He went to the Wings and won 4 cups.
Zdeno Chara is in his 40s and he's playing. So
yeah, maybe I don't know. But if Giordano, I think Calgary would have kept Giordano if they valued his services. I think he's slowed down. Yeah, he's a veteran. I'm not going to say he's not a good player. He's a veteran, and he can calm the other rookies down back there, and he's a presence. So sure, if you want to bring him back for that, to be a mentor to the younger players, yeah, go ahead.
I think he's serviceable. I think he's more serviceable than just a mentor. But and it'd be interesting to see a full season of him in Toronto as opposed to maybe just the tail end.
But they're missing something, though. It's an intangible thing. They can't get over this hump. They're missing something there that
I actually think it's the system. I think it's the system. They're playing an offensive system, and they're wanting the defense to do something that in that system I don't know that they're capable of doing.
Well, they want the defense to jump in too, which they do, and you saw that with Riley. He scored the goal because he jumped up, right? So they want everything from everybody, and I think in the playoffs especially, you can't just be strictly offense, because
you saw the result of that in Game 7, where you saw the Tampa Bay Lightning collapse and get in front of those shots, and it didn't matter who was gonna. It reminded me of an old Habs game, right, where it was like they're up by a goal, they're not gonna get scored on. They're shutting it down, right? That's it. It's over. But speaking of over, I said we'll come back, and this is it. We'll cover this, and then we'll call it. But the Sportsnet panel or the TSN stuff,
Oh.
they're in mourning. Like
it's embarrassing.
They're in mourning. It's like, what's going on?
It's embarrassing to me. I watch it and it's embarrassing. They're basically they've turned into Leaf home fans, and it's embarrassing. Like, you're supposed to call the game, and maybe not. Maybe because they're being paid by Sportsnet. Maybe because Rogers owns the Leafs and owns Sportsnet, and that's who's paying the bills. They basically turned into homers, and it's hard to watch, hard to listen to. I turn the TV down, the volume down when I'm watching the games, because I don't even want to listen to the announcers. And then during the break, I mean, I like the panel I like Kelly Rudy, and I like
Kelly Rudy.
Exka. I mean, they call it as they see it.
Yeah.
Elliot sometimes gets a little funky, where he's, oh no, I still believe Toronto. I believe in them. They're going to win. I know they're going to win tonight. I still believe. And Ron McLean, I don't know what he's turned into. He's turned into, I don't know, since the Don Cherry thing, he's turned into somebody else. I have no idea. Or maybe he was always like that, but I have a hard time listening and watching McLean anymore too.
I just felt that overall as a panel, they felt so down after Toronto lost. And the announcers, like during the game, it's just the difference. Yeah, I didn't even know that Tampa scored that second goal at one point. I had just moved out of the living room to watch it, and it was just like, oh, I think they just scored, because just the tone, the level, it just isn't the same, right? I was like, oh, Tampa must have scored, because otherwise they're through the roof with Toronto, right? It's hard to watch, and even I'm not going to put it on the screen, but I went to the TSN their website, the tsn.ca site, and this morning. Now, the Edmonton Oilers put on a show.
Yeah.
In game 7, they put on a show. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl was playing hard, playing amazing. They put on a show. They went through to the second round, right? Like, they just dominated LA. The first thing I see on the TSN website, the Leafs lose again. That's the first picture. That's the headline. Leafs lose again. And I'm thinking, that's what you wanted. Like, we have this team out in Edmonton, Alberta. They're part of Canada. And that's what you give Canadians who are going to the sports network, not the Toronto Sports Network, the sports network, right? That's what gets me, when people say, well, you just beat up on the Leafs. I'm not beating up on the Leafs and a lot of the media. I'm beating up on the media that makes the Leafs into this other thing. And
maybe that's why they have a hard time winning, because they've got such pressure on them, and they're being constantly told that they're the center of everything, and they just can't do it. I watched that Edmonton game. Connor McDavid was on a different planet.
He was amazing.
He was a monster.
Yeah.
He said, "This is our game, and we're winning it."
Yeah.
And he put everybody on his shoulders and just said, "Come on, boys, we're moving on to the next round."
Yeah.
Okay. Follow me. That one play he made, that goal he scored,
wild.
Oh my God! Like, it just took over.
It was fun to watch.
Yeah. Did anybody in Toronto say, "I'm taking this game over. It's our game"?
Well,
did you sense that from the Leafs? I didn't sense it.
So at the end of game 6, Austin Matthews says, we got to go hard, right? And he did play, but I didn't feel like he was, not him, not Marner. I actually thought John Tavares played a better game than Marner and Matthews in that game 7. I thought that as the captain, he was showing like quiet emotion and leadership on the ice, and like
I agree
he
with
was
you.
doing it that.
Yeah, I do too. I agree with you. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, You know, the Leafs, it's spring, but the Leafs have fallen.
Yeah.
You know, that's the saying. I can't remember. I think Dee said that to me. She said somebody said that the Leafs are falling. Leafs have
And
fallen.
the other thing I've been hearing, you know, well, there's next year.
What are we at? 56 years?
Yes. Well, there's next year. Yeah.
They have
Come
not
on, boys.
won. They
And-
have not won a Stanley Cup in my lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they haven't. Yeah.
They actually haven't won a Stanley Cup for several years before my lifetime began. Just wild. It's just wild. I feel sorry for the fans, Leaf fans, the good Leaf fans out there. I feel sorry for you. There is next year, you know, myself as a Habs fan. I mean, there's, you know, there's next year. Right?
For us too,
I can't say I'm in a better spot or
Yeah.
anything, right?
Yeah.
But right. We'll see if the Habs pick up Shane Wright. We'll have to do an episode with the other guys and cover off a few more topics. I think we're recording later this week, so hopefully that works out. But for now, you got Roland, you got Guido. It's not the ref. It really wasn't the ref this game, guys. All right, take it easy. See you on the next episode.